All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And this video, guys, we got news of Cal Kestis. I don't want to break down his kit so much as I want to talk about the impact he has on this game. I think this is a fantastic journey guide character. The minimum requirements seem like they're really going to be free to play, new player friendly. I'm really looking forward to this character. I think he's going to really help sort of build out some of those teams that we just have these random characters where you don't know how or where to use them. I think it's really going to combine a lot of these factions together that we've been seeing lately and sort of matches the trend that the developers in the game seems to be going towards, where they're releasing a character or two at a time that sort of complete a faction. You think about all the way back to Iden Versio. I want to use her because I think Iden's a great example of this, where you think back to Iden Versio. She kind of completed this other Imperial Trooper team. Moff Gideon with Imperial Remnants was supposed to kind of do that, but I think Iden came in and really made this secondary Imperial Trooper team really, really good. The same thing, guys, right, with Tuskens, where you now have this full force of 5 Tuskens that this isn't just a faction that exists inside of 3v3 GAC now. You can use them in territory wars, territory battles all over the place, that they've really tried to increase the viability of some of these just random factions that just didn't have a really good home. I even think with a character like Boba Fett, Cyan, and Django, have done a good job with giving him that viability with those Tuskens in 3v3, because they recognized we can't just release 2 extra Tuskens and now you don't have a 3v3 team. Like, how do I use those other 2 Tuskens? So I really think they're trying to get this game to a point where you're using more of your roster. So let's kind of pop over to the forum post. And again, I'm not going to go crazy into it. There's plenty of other creators who cover all of that stuff. So I do just want to kind of cover it more so in a different light for you guys. So let's pop over here. And let's get over there. Okay. See, can you guys see this now? Okay, hold on. What am I doing? There we go. Okay. Now you guys can see the screen. So, we're on the forums here. These are the requirements. So, Cal Kestis, Cere Junda, Merrin, Tarful, and Saw Gerrera. So, there's 5 requirements for Cal Kestis, which is awesome. I'm very excited, especially for Saw Gerrera. I've wanted him in the game for a while. Again, rest of these characters, Tarful, again, Wookiee. Then we've got, Merrin, Cere Junda, Cal Kestis. So, this is going to be awesome. Now, the minimum requirements are Gear 12, 7-star. Keep in mind, guys, that minimum it doesn't necessarily mean, like if I was to pop over to the game again real quick, because I do want to show this, where when you're in the game here, that minimum requirement doesn't necessarily just mean that that's going to complete the event. Think back to your Darth Malak event, where the minimum requirement is 17,500, but you really need more than that. Again, I did it with less gear than this, but on the light side path as well here, where my Revan is well over, everybody else was underneath it, but still not right on that line. And I think, again, with General Skywalker be another good example, where, you have these minimum requirements and you probably need to go over it to complete. I think with this, you could probably expect that you'll need to have a little bit more on them or some amazing mods to complete this event. But I do want to pop back over to the forums here. So there's those requirements, and again, it's going to just tell you. But really what this is going to open up is that with Cere's release, they're going to unlock a bonus node on Bracca in the new Rise of the Empire, which is awesome. We're super excited for that. Again, it's kind of explaining what those things will do, and I'm not going to go crazy into that. But just I want to paint a picture here. Keep in mind, for the Bracca mission, you're going to need at least Cere and one of the 2 versions of Cal at Relic 6. And then to compete on the next node, which unlocks the planet Zepho, you're going to need Relic 7 characters. So again, similar to those Inquisitors where Relic 5 gets you Grand Inquisitor and then you need to invest in more to get the Reva, it's going to be the same situation with, Cal Kestis getting to Zepho, that you're going to need to first get him and then invest all those additional relics to be able to utilize them to their fullest extent in the new Rise of the Empire territory battle. So again, I do just want to note that I think sometimes that gets lost, and I don't want that message to get lost on people. just because it says gear 12 doesn't mean that's the intention. They're really intended to be much higher relic levels. So here's Cal Kestis' kit that they released. This synergy suggestions, ones I really want to point out are Kylo Ren, Rey Scavenger, and Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum. There are 3 characters who really just don't have this home at the end game, even late game. You don't really know where to use these guys in like GAC. In Territory Wars, Fulcrum does have a really good Omicron that basically makes her Wampa. But again, it's not something that I think is like, I don't know what's the word I want to use here. It's not like super common even at my level, right? I think that's a very more end game. A lot of guilds will have that. So it talks about his kit. I'm not going to go crazy into his kit. They kind of tease him using Starkiller and Fulcrum. I don't think Starkiller is going to be his home. And I'm going to show you guys why, because we're going to go over to Seer Junda's kit. Again, guys, I'm not covering their kits in this video to the fullest extent. So she's got a Scoundrel tag on a Line Force user, and she's the leader. So Cal is going to follow her leadership. Again, they talk about all her stuff. I'm not going through all this. Where I want to cover is her leadership ability here, where basically it's at the start of the encounter, all unaligned Force user and Jedi allies gain protection up and tenacity up. So it says unaligned Force user. It doesn't specify dark or light. It just says, unaligned Force user. And it really seems like she wants unaligned Force users more so than Jedi, because while Jedi gain, the tenacity up, you look at the final text up here and it's 20%, and then it's doubled for unaligned Force users. If they're all dark side or light side unaligned Force users, no Galactic Legends, so don't use Rey, Kylo, until an ally takes their turn. Basically, they want this team to be run slow. They said this, that you don't want speed mods on this team. You want the enemy team to be taking a crazy amount of turns, and that allows you to stack this until, now when it says until the end of battle, keep in mind it's really until an ally takes their first turn. So if each of the enemy take a single turn, you're going to get 25% critical chance, critical damage, and offense. That's stout. And then as soon as an ally takes a turn, that is no longer in effect. You get 25 for the rest of battle. Now, there's accuracy up in here, which is pretty cool. 50% critical damage when that happens. Now, here's what their intention is. All other unaligned Force user allies gain 5% turn meter whenever another unaligned Force user ally takes damage from an enemy. So again, I want to mention that this is not good. They're trying to say you don't want speed mods on these characters. I envision that you're going to want either crazy amount of survivability here or lots of offense. One or the other. I think it'll kind of depend on how this team stacks up and what you're going to end up running with it. And then she's got a Grand Arena Omicron, which makes them immune to ability block and daze, which to me screams this team could potentially compete with Lord Vader, because those are the 2 biggest things inside of his kit. Again, Jedi Master Kenobi going to shut this team down because they won't be able to gain turn meter, and they could potentially never take a turn. Again, at the start of the encounter, there's additional gains. The gain 10% offense. Whenever somebody deals damage to them, they gain 10% offense for 2 turns. So imagine you're dealing that damage. They're now gaining just additional offense on top of it for those 2 turns. Then that, until an ally takes their first turn, you're gaining 10% on top of the additional 5. So in GAC, if the entire enemy team takes a single turn before you do, you're now gaining 75% critical chance, critical damage, and offense for the rest of the battle, which is awesome. And then again, some key things here. Now, why did I cover her kit a little bit more? Notice this all about dark side unaligned Force user, dark side and light side unaligned Force user. Well, I know that there are people are thinking, oh, like this could be, Starkiller would be really good in this team. Here's the thing, guys. I want to go back into the game here because I think this is going to be important to understand. All right, we're back into the game, right? Starkiller's kit. If we go down to our unaligned Force users, let's go down. Oops, that's not Starkiller, that's OG Kylo. Starkiller's kit is his Omicron is completely reliant in GAC on, the whole 1 Sith, 1 Jedi, 1 light side, 1 dark side unaligned Force user. And if you're going to run Seer Junda's kit, it's all light side, dark side unaligned Force users, so you're not gaining as much from Starkiller. So I made some squads here to show you guys the impact of Cal Kestis. Of course, we got to cover our king first. Guys, we hit 3,000 subscribers. I love every single one of you for getting us to 3,000 subscribers so quickly. Give yourselves a nice pat on the back. And while you're doing that, if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. Wampa wants to hit Relic 8. And more importantly, my daughters need to go to college. And, getting to 5,000 just, helps with additional ad revenue and things, guys. And I cannot thank you enough for all the love and support you guys have shown this channel. So get Wampa to Relic 8, or if that doesn't make you want to do it, which it should, if that's enough, but if not, make sure that Fat Phil's daughters get into school and have wedding funds too, because there's that. Ugh. Anyway, so Cal's Impact, obviously spelled that wrong. It should be with a C instead of a K, but whatever. So, yeah, so we did get some huge buffs here. So we mentioned Ray Scavenger and Fulcrum in the kit reveal, along with OG Kylo. The other thing here is you've got these two Inquisitors that you're not really sure what you're going to do with them, because when you get Grand Inquisitor, there's already 5 Inquisitors, right? There's 5 Inquisitors. When you unlock Grand Inquisitor, you now have an odd person out. And then when you get Reva, there's going to be 2 odd Inquisitors out. So one of them you could go run with Lord Vader, which seems to be the home. But the other one you could use inside of this team. Again, just spitballing here. It's a Dark Side Online Force user. It makes sense. Again, as I was saying, I still think the Starkiller team is pretty safe. I don't see Starkiller. I know they teased it maybe in 3v3, but I think for 5v5, you still want to keep Starkiller with that Sith. I think it'll just make them I think it'll be a stronger 2 teams that people will have to go through. So that's kind of my assumption there. But the impact of Cal Kestis goes beyond just, oh yeah, he's getting these teams and unaligned Force users. There's also the fact that they're going to get an additional Wookiee and Tarful, right? You guys remember you saw those characters. I didn't cover them crazy yet because you've got 7 Wookiees in the game. You've got Vandor, Chewbacca, Chrysanthemum. They don't fit inside of this squad here. But then you have 4 versions of Chewbacca and Zalbar. So Tarful now grants, there's additional stuff for Wookiees, which that territory battle mission on Kashyyyk needs Wookiees. So Tarful may actually have a leadership that's useful. Now, you'll probably never use Chrysanthemum with Wookiees because he goes with Jabba, right? You've got your, Chewbacca and 3PO and Chewie kind of have their teams, but you've got these other guys to run with Tarful. Again, we don't know the impact, but I can imagine that Tarful's going to maybe utilize Clone Wars Chewie, Veteran Smuggler in a 3v3 scenario. I doubt they'll do 5v5 just because, 3PO and Chewie go with Commander Luke Skywalker. Vandor is friends with Dash. Chrysanthemum's friends with, Jabba the Hutt. So you've kind of got these 3 other Wookiees here that you're trying to figure out what to do with. And again, Tarful may end up being the leader of them. We don't know, but I think that's kind of where they're heading. That seems to be the direction they've done. Again, like I mentioned with Iden, Versio, and Tuskens. Then we've got Saw Gerrera coming into the game, who could be a Rebel fighter tag. Again, maybe he gets a leadership ability. We don't know. But he could be a Rebel fighter. Maybe he fits under like an Akbar team or slots into the Sonosaurus team that's gotten a lot of love recently. And even potentially they could give him a Rogue One tag. Again, I don't know that he fits. But again, Jedi Knight Luke doesn't have a Rebel tag because they don't want to make him too powerful. Again, they do whatever they want with tagging nowadays. So I think, my gut says either like Sana or Admiral Akbar will be his natural home. Maybe he's a Rebel. Maybe he gets Phoenix synergy. I don't know. But I really think, one of these 3 is probably the most solid bet, just going off of what my gut is telling me. All right, then we're getting Marin, who's a Night Sister. So one of these characters is probably moving out. My gut says Night Sister Spirit is going to get the axe. I don't think they will want to take Zombie out of the squad. I think they'll still want Zombie there because they really don't like the whole Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Old Daka, and Zombie cheese that is just like a fantastic team. Everybody uses it. Even like me with this low gear Zombie, I still use it all the time. My gut assumption says that they're going to try and make sure that you keep Daka and Zombie with the Night Sisters with Marin, which kind of forces Spirit out. I could be wrong on that, but that's just my general assumption based off of, past, past communications from them with them not being happy about the, addition of those characters. So again, before we move down to the bottom here and talk about Cal Kestis Survivor, who's going to be a Jedi, right? Your Seer Jinda, really going to make these other unaligned force users a really good team inside of territory battles, territory wars, because Cal's kit is going to give Fulcrum the ability to use her Omicron inside of a team, which is amazing, because right now it's just a solo, right? No other active allies. Cal's kit will allow that to be active in territory wars with a team. So then we come down to the bottom. How does Cal Kestis Survivor fit? And I kind of have three really good Jedi here between Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, and Jedi Knight Revan. They're the three most popular Jedi leaders, I would say, outside of like the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron, where that you really want to be Galactic Republic. So you're going to have Cal Survivor. And how he fits in here, maybe he's got a leadership ability. Or is he just going to be a lifter unit that allows you to pull Jedi Knight Luke away from Jedi Master Luke or Jedi Knight Revan away to build another team? I think he's going to be one of those Jedi that just gives you additional ways to utilize that faction and utilize those characters to their fullest extent. Again, guys, I am super excited for Cal Kestis. Even though I don't play Jedi Fallen Order, I know enough about it. Like, it seems so cool. I am super excited, I think especially because that Gear 12 minimum requirement is a huge step in the right direction for this game. You look at the more recent Journey Guide editions, besides, Galactic Legends, but you look at Starkiller, Aphra, Grand Inquisitor, they're all Relic 5 requirements. Again, he's 5 characters. It's not going to be super easy to obtain them early on. But again, it's only Gear 12, which is very easy to obtain. I think for me, if I'm looking at my farming guide like a year down the road when they're accelerated, they might be something that you would try to obtain before your Malix and Jedi Knight Revan, Darth Revan, if it fits in. Again, there's a lot of other variables here, but I'm curious to see how this team stacks up, and I really think it's going to kind of boost a faction that right now just doesn't have a whole lot of love. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. As always, smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.